In the silent depths beneath a remote mountainside, Expedition Bigfoot team of explorers is using lasers and nerve to map a hidden world vast enough to conceal a legend. Their target is not the forests where Bigfoot is traditionally sought, but the sprawling, pitch-black caverns underneath them. The mission was led by primatologist and explorer Dr. Mireya Mayer, who descended into a constricted, ominous hole, a portal to what she believed could be the perfect subterranean refuge for a large, undocumented primate. The mission began with a strategic division of labor. Teammate Russell Accord took to the dense, overgrown slopes, meticulously scanning the terrain for any subtle sign of a grand entrance, a collapsed sinkhole, a hidden crevasse, that might serve as a primary gateway. Meanwhile, Mayer focused her attention on a far more constricted opening, a sinister, narrow hole that seemed to swallow the daylight. This was the team's point of ingress, a tight and treacherous portal into the unknown. For Mayer, a scientist whose career has involved rappelling into jungles and caverns across the globe, this particular aperture presented a unique psychological and physical challenge. The unnerving part, she would later reflect, is that this hole narrows to the point where it feels like it could consume me. With her shoulders brushing against cold, damp rock, she could barely fit inside. Peering down, she was met not with a visible floor, but with an absolute black void. Each movement was calculated, each foot of rope fed into the abyss with deliberate care. The peril was ever present. The slightest shift of a rock could seal the opening above her, severing the tether to the surface world and entombing her in darkness. Navigating the slippery descent was a test of nerve, but finally, she reached the bottom. Emerging from the claustrophobic shaft, the space dramatically expanded into a cavern of impressive scale. The air grew cooler, the silence profound. This chamber, Mayer assessed, was an ideal shelter, massive, insulated, and utterly concealed. Several species of primates use caves for protection at night, retreating there after foraging during the day, she noted, her headlamp beam sweeping over the walls and floor for any sign of nests, bedding, or markings. While this first chamber showed no immediate evidence of habitation, the team's core objective was not to find the creature in the first room, but to find the door it might use. The true prize would be discovering a larger connecting passage that could serve as a main thoroughfare. The cave system beckoned deeper, revealing its complex, layered nature. Mayer pressed on, climbing over jagged rockfalls and skirting gaping holes where her light failed to find a bottom. The environment was a chaotic maze of mud terraces, hidden ledges, and echoing chambers. She identified numerous openings and side passages, but no obvious route to another entrance. Faced with a labyrinth of too many options and limited resources, she made the difficult decision to return to the surface. A new, more sophisticated strategy was required. This is where frontier technology met ancient mystery. The team called in Specialist Bryce, equipped with a state-of-the-art LiDAR, light detection and ranging scanner. This device would allow them to see the cave in its entirety. As Bryce operated the unit, it fired hundreds of thousands of laser pulses in every direction, each beam returning a precise measurement. The result was not just a map, but a hyper-accurate, three-dimensional digital twin of the entire explored cavern, capturable in stunning detail for anyone to explore virtually. Back in the daylight, huddled around a laptop, the team examined the rendered model. It was a revelation. The software peeled back the mountain skin, revealing a clear, navigable model of a multi-level subterranean complex. They could slice the cave horizontally and vertically, measure distances, and zoom into impossibly tight spaces. The data confirmed the existence of three distinct tiers. The third chamber, which Mayer had only partially traversed, was monstrous. Over 400 feet in length, a rocky, treacherous gauntlet pockmarked with numerous pitfalls and holes. Most intriguingly, at its far end, the LiDAR map confirmed the presence of Mayer's incredible black void, a sheer drop that the scanner could not penetrate, suggesting the cave system plunged even deeper. This void became the new primary target. It could be the key to a lower network or a hidden exit. Armed with this digital blueprint, Mayer descended once more. Now, with the confidence of the map, she navigated directly through the sprawling third chamber to the coordinates of the void. There, in the complex rock face, her hands found what her eyes had initially missed, a small, obscure opening just beside the major drop-off. Squeezing through, she entered a space that took her breath away. The chamber beyond was monumental, dwarfing all previous cavities. The scale was now of a different order, a cathedral-like space where light from her headlamp dissipated into emptiness. The air was heavy with moisture, and the steady drip-drip-drip of water echoed in the dark. "This suggests a water table," Mayer observed, her voice hushed with awe. "It's a resource that could support large mammals." The possibility felt tangible. If a larger entrance existed elsewhere on the mountain, this vast, resource-rich chamber was more than capable of harboring a substantial creature. The emotional journey of exploration is one of soaring hope and sobering reality. The team encountered both. Some tantalizing passages, after arduous navigation, terminated in solid, unforgiving rock, dashing immediate hopes of a connecting exit. Walking away from these dead ends was, as Mayer admitted, discouraging. Yet, the knowledge provided by the LiDAR model was empowering. They could always return, re-strategize, and probe another branch. And then, on the final trek back toward the surface, a glint in the sediment. A single, coarse hair, caught on a jagged rock. It was a small, fragile clue, but in the context of this immense hidden world, it was monumental. It was proof of life, a biological signature in the geological silence, collected for DNA analysis. Faced with the cave's immense scale, the team's strategy shifted. They launched a squadron of drones into the so-called Giant Cave, a subterranean realm long rumored to be a refuge for the elusive Yeti, hoping their electronic eyes could pierce a darkness too vast for humans. The operation began with cautious optimism. Piloting a sophisticated aerospace-grade drone into a deep mine shaft, the team watched the live feed on their monitors, hoping to map tunnels and find evidence of large-scale habitation. The initial descent was routine. Rock walls, wooden supports, and dust passed steadily by on the screen. Then, without warning, the image jolted violently. "Something seems to shake the drone," one team member observed, tension rising in the command tent. What happened next defied all operational logic. The signal didn't just degrade, it vanished. The controller's light flipped instantly to red, and the high-definition feed cut to black. "It goes from a perfect connection to total disconnection in an instant," the pilot explained, baffled. "At this distance, that shouldn't be possible." Standard failure protocols were ignored. Typically, a drone at its range limit would first lose HD video, then its secondary camera feed, with control lagging last. This was a total, simultaneous shutdown. The drone's lights didn't dim like a dying flashlight, they went from full brightness to dead, the team noted. The equipment, built for harsh environments, had simply dropped from the air as if its power had been surgically removed. "I've logged hundreds of hours flying this exact drone, and I've never seen anything like it," the pilot stated. It was instantaneous, like something interfered directly with the electronics. Upon recovery, the drone showed no physical damage. The only explanations, extreme wind or a gravitational shift, were impossible in the stagnant, confined mine. "Once again," the team mused, "our electronics are acting strangely." Refusing to be stymied, the team repositioned at a second mine entrance, hypothesizing the tunnels connected underground. The atmosphere was palpably ominous, but after several attempts, a breakthrough, the drone reconnected, and its signal was stronger from this new angle. This confirmed a linked, extensive cave system far larger than surface scans suggested. Relaunching, the drone delved into this new access point. Immediately, it revealed a branching network of tunnels. As it banked into a westward passage, the camera spotted something compelling on the ground, an anomalous pile of materials resembling a nest. Most striking was the presence of fresh, green foliage, vegetation that could not grow in the perpetual dark. Something, it appeared, was actively bringing organic matter deep inside. The labyrinth only grew more complex as the drone revealed another southern branch, painting a picture of a sprawling, navigable underground highway. The theory that a large creature could live and move undetected beneath the mountain gained substantial credibility. Yet, as the drone pressed toward this promising new tunnel, the technology again rebelled. Controls began to lag severely, and the drone's movements turned erratic and uncommanded. Faced with the specter of another total blackout and the loss of their crucial equipment, the team made the difficult call to retreat, pulling the drone back to the safety of the entrance. The mission yielded no definitive footage of a Sasquatch. But it achieved something perhaps more significant: hard data on a massive underground complex and curious evidence of potential habitation, paired with repeated, unexplained electromagnetic anomalies. The team is left with a haunting convergence of questions. Is something intelligent, and powerfully disruptive, inhabiting the depths? The search continues, but the mystery has deepened, proving that some of the most compelling evidence for the legend may not be found on the forest floor, but in the silent, electronic silencing dark beneath it. The expedition did not conclude with a definitive answer, but it fundamentally altered the search paradigm. Coupled with the physical evidence of the hair, the mission shifted the burden of proof. The question is no longer a fanciful if such a place could hide a legend, but a rigorous scientific inquiry into what unknown life might already reside there. The search for Sasquatch had moved from the fog-shrouded forests into the mapped, measurable darkness below, and in doing so, entered a new era.